welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into Shavuot and thinking about it as, more than just marking a date on the calendar.
Exactly. It's framed here as this yearly spiritual encounter, something to kind of reawaken the soul.
Right. Not just looking back, but experiencing something now.
Yeah.
And our sources for this are primarily the multidimensional meaning of Shavuot, which comes from Beit Yisrael International's perspective.
Offering that contemporary view.
Yeah. And then we also have the Gaddi Efratim Notes, which add, commentary in deeper layers.
Right. They really help illuminate some of the finer points.
So the goal here is to kind of unpack the core significance, get beyond maybe this surface-level understanding.
To really explore its many facets.
Okay, so where do we start? The journey to Sinai seems foundational.
Absolutely. It's key to see Shavuot not as a standalone thing, but as the culmination.
The destination.
Yes, the destination of the journey that started with Passover. From physical freedom.
To this spiritual meeting point at Sinai.
Yeah. Exactly, a spiritual union.
So it's a progression. Freedom is step one, but then there's something more.
Right. And this union, this giving of the Torah at Sinai, it's not presented as just a historical footnote. No, the sources really emphasize it as an active thing, a yearly remanifestation of that eternal covenant.
Okay, hold on. A yearly remanifestation. How does that work in practice? Is it symbolic or...
It's understood as more than just symbolic remembrance. It's a time when that original connection, that covenant, is spiritually available again,
So it's like an open door each year.
Kind of, yeah. An opportunity to consciously re-engage with that foundational relationship, to deepen it.
That's quite a concept.
Yeah.
Okay, now the name itself, Shavuot, weeks. That points directly to the Omer count, right?
Yeah.
The 49 days between Passover and Shavuot.
It does. But again, it's not just about marking time.
You can't just be counting.
No. Those 49 days, the Omer period, are described as this intense internal process. A transformation. The Gaddi Efratim Notes talk about it as a spiritual climb, moving up through, 49 levels.
49 levels. From what to what?
From a state described as impurity, sort of spiritually unrefined, towards holiness.
Wow, 49 steps. That sounds demanding. Torah as the blueprint of creation.
Yeah, this is huge. Texts like the Zohar and the Ramshal teach this.
That the Torah isn't just a book of laws and stories.
Not just that, it's presented as the very architecture of existence, the fundamental design, the spiritual DNA upon which God built reality.
Wow, that's mind-bending.
It is.
Yeah.
And the Gaddi Efratim Notes connect this by saying, when we receive Torah, when we engage with it,
We're doing what?
we're essentially realigning ourselves with that fundamental divine structure, living more in sync with how the universe is actually built, spiritually speaking.
So studying Torah isn't just learning rules, it's tuning into the frequency of creation itself.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It reframes it completely, from just a legal code to the operating system of reality.
Okay, and this connects to the idea of the enduring voice of Sinai.
It does. This is something especially emphasized in Hasidic thought.
The idea that the sound didn't just stop after the 10 Commandments were given.
Exactly. It wasn't a one-time sonic boom that faded. Hasidic teachings, echoed by Beit Yisrael International and the Gaddi Efratim Notes, suggest that voice never actually stopped.
It's still reverberating.
Yes, subtly perhaps, but continuously reverberating. It can be heard, they say, in souls that are attuned, that are listening.
So Shavuot is like turning up the volume.
Or maybe opening our ears again. The giving of the Torah is seen as renewed each Shavuot. The soul gets a fresh chance to hear that ancient yet ever-present call to holiness.
So it's not just remembering Sinai, it's potentially re-experiencing that call each year.
That's the living memory, the living potential of Shavuot.
Which really brings us back to the idea that started this off, Shavuot as this multidimensional experience.
Absolutely. It's not just one simple thing. It's this incredibly rich tapestry.
You got the culmination of the Omer journey, that inner work.
The profound revelation of divine wisdom, the Torah.
The expression of gratitude, like with the first fruits.
And that deep, sacred union, the mystical wedding idea.
It's a lot packed into one festival.
It really is. So what if there was a moment each year, not just for remembering something that happened way back when, but for your actual being, your soul, to be elevated, to grasp wisdom like it's completely fresh, brand new.
Ah, I see. That's quite a hook. That touching on the essence of Shavuot, drawing from Beit Yisrael International and the Gaddi Efratim Notes, right?
Exactly. It's this idea of shifting Shavuot from, just a historical date.
To something happening now, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a compelling idea, a recurring deep encounter.
Right. So for this deep dive, we're not just, let's say, revisiting Sinai as a past event.
Okay.
Our goal here, and we're pulling from quite a few sources, Beit Yisrael International, Gaddi Efratim Notes, Rebbe Nachman, the Baal Shem Tov, the Zohar, Sefat Emet, the Maharal.
A rich tapestry of thought there.
Definitely. The mission is to explore Shavuot as this dynamic yearly chance for your own spiritual growth, your connection to the divine seen through these teachings.
Okay, let's dig in. This idea of Shavuot is a renewed experience, not just a memory.
It's striking, isn't it?
It really is. Both Beit Yisrael International and the Gaddi Efratim Notes really lean into this. They call it a living, mystical experience renewed each year.
Living and mystical, so not just intellectual recall.
Not at all. It's about actively participating year after year.
And then Rebbe Nachman adds this beautiful layer about hearing the inner voice of Hashem, not with your ears, but in your heart. How does that change things, that inner voice idea?
Well, it deepens it considerably. It suggests the communication is profoundly personal, internal. And what's really interesting is how that connects to what the Gaddi Efratim Notes mention. This concept of an inner Torah, like something already engraved within the soul of each Israelite, just waiting to be awakened.
Wow, okay, so the wisdom isn't just out there to be received.
Exactly. It implies an intrinsic connection, something latent within us that resonates with the external revelation.
Like tuning into a frequency that's already there. And the Baal Shem Tov, he pushes this even further, saying the Torah is actually given anew each Shavuot.
Yes, that's his teaching. Given anew.
So what does that mean for us? Does that put pressure on us each year?
Well, it underscores our active role, doesn't it? It implies we need to prepare ourselves consciously each year to be ready to receive it, truly receive it as the divine will for now.
So it's not automatic. Preparation is key.
Absolutely. And Beit Yisrael International really emphasizes that point too. The Torah isn't just for studying, reading.
Right.
It's meant to be absorbed, lived,
yeah. It integrated into life itself.
Right. And they use this incredibly powerful image.
The heavens opening?
Yes. The heavens opening and the soul literally hearing the eternal voice of the Creator. It paints this picture of a direct, unmediated connection being possible each year.
A profound annual opportunity. Which leads nicely into another idea from the Gaddi Efratim Notes. Shavuot as a meeting point.
A meeting point between heaven and earth. That's how they describe it.
What's the significance there? Why is that meeting important?
The idea is that this specific time allows for a unique bridging of realms. It's when the soul can experience transcendence, move beyond the everyday, the purely physical, and touch the divine.
But it's not meant to stay purely transcendent, right? It's not just about escaping.
Precisely. That's crucial. The ultimate purpose isn't for the Torah, the wisdom, to remain just in that elevated spiritual space.
It needs to come down.
Yes. It's meant to descend into life, to infuse our time, our actions, our physical spaces with holiness, to sanctify the mundane, you could say.
Okay, that makes sense, bringing the sacred into the everyday. Now, here's something that always gets me thinking. Why, according to Beit Yisrael International, was the Torah offered to the other nations first, before Israel? It feels counterintuitive, maybe?
It does raise questions, doesn't it? The way Beit Yisrael International presents it, it wasn't quite a straightforward offer expecting a yes or no. It was more like a process.
A process. To do what?
To reveal the inherent spiritual nature, the core identity of each nation involved.
Okay. So less like a job interview, more like holding up a mirror.
That's a good way to put it. It was about showing what each nation fundamentally valued, what defined them.
Tell us about those specific encounters. Esav, Moab, Ammon, Yishmael. What did they reveal?
Well, the sources describe Hashem approaching each nation with a key aspect of the Torah. With Esav, associated with Seir, the focus was, you shall not murder.
And their reaction?
They couldn't accept it. It fundamentally conflicted with their identity, which was tied to the sword, to conquest, to, well, a life often involving bloodshed.
A direct clash with their essence. What about Moab and Ammon?
For them, the sticking point was, you shall not commit immorality. This apparently clashed with traditions surrounding their very origins, their understanding of lineage. It wasn't compatible with their foundational story.
I see. A conflict with their societal bedrock. And Yishmael?
With Yishmael, the challenge was, you shall not steal. This was seen as incompatible with their traditional nomadic life, which sometimes involved practices others might view as raiding or taking what was needed for survival in harsh environments.
So it seems like, and the Gaddi Efratim Notes point this out, each nation essentially said no because the Torah didn't affirm who they already were.
Exactly. They were looking for a divine law, you could say, that would fit comfortably within their existing identity, their culture, their way of life. They weren't asking to be changed by it.
They wanted alignment, not transformation.
Precisely. And that sets up the stark contrast with Israel's response.
Which was just immediate, nasa v'nishma.
Instantly. We will do, and then we will understand.
What was the huge significance of saying it in that order? Do first, understand later.
According to Beit Yisrael International, that was the essence of Emunah, true faith. It represented complete trust and surrender to the divine will before needing rational justification or full comprehension.
Action driven by faith, not by intellectual agreement first.
Right. And the Zohar adds this amazing mystical layer to that moment.
The crowns.
Yes. Just by saying Nasa v'nishma, the Zohar says crowns were placed on their heads and their souls actually soared, ascended right up to the throne of glory.
Wow. So it wasn't just words. It was an act with immediate, profound spiritual consequence.
Absolutely. And Sefat Emet provides a key insight into why Israel was chosen based on this. He says they accepted the Torah not because it perfectly reflected their nature at that moment.
But because they were willing to be changed by it.
Exactly. It was about their desire for transformations, for elevation.
Yeah.
That willingness to be reshaped rather than just confirmed is presented as the crucial difference.
And the Maharal, he adds another angle on this, about nature itself.
He does. The Maharal explains that the Torah's purpose isn't just to sit alongside our natural inclinations. It's meant to refine them, uplift them.
To elevate nature?
Yes. And he suggests that only those who are rooted in something beyond just the natural order, those willing to transcend their basic instincts and limitations, can truly receive and integrate the Torah.
So you need a capacity for transcendence, a willingness to go beyond your default settings, so to speak.
That's a good way to phrase it. And this idea connects right back to the yearly nature of Shavuot.
How so?
Because, as Beit Yisrael International and the Gaddi Efratim Notes emphasize, Shavuot is the annual renewal of that truth, that possibility.
The renewal of the choice to transcend.
Yes. Every year, it's presented as an opportunity for every soul connected to Israel to metaphorically stand at Sinai again.
To hear that voice.
To hear the divine voice, maybe that inner voice Rebbe Nachman spoke of. To reaffirm Nasa v'nishma in their own lives.
And receive the Torah again.
And receive it not just as text, but as life. As the blueprint for living a more elevated, connected existence.
So Shavuot becomes this present-day call. A call to transcendence, unity, divine intimacy.
Yes, lifting the soul, renewing that sacred bond each and every year. It's incredibly dynamic when you see it that way.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive really paints Shavuot in a different light. It's way more than just marking a historical calendar date.
Definitely. It emerges as this vibrant yearly opportunity for you, personally, to receive divine wisdom.
Characterized by that potential for the soul's ascent, hearing an inner voice, and crucially, that commitment Nasa v'nishma, doing before fully understanding.
And we saw how Israel's unique acceptance wasn't about the Torah matching who they already were. It was about their willingness, their desire to be transformed by it.
Which really set them apart from other nations who seem to be looking more for divine approval of their existing ways.
Exactly, a fundamental difference in orientation.
So the final thought to leave you with, the listener, is this. If you consider Shavuot as this yearly chance to receive foundational wisdom anew, how might that shift your perspective, your approach to your own growth, your search for knowledge?
Yeah, and is there maybe an inner Torah, a core truth, a purpose within you that's waiting to be more fully awakened? And perhaps most provocatively, what could Nasa v'nishma, that leap of faith into action before complete understanding, look like in the context of your own life today?
Thank you.